So what is an AI agent? Well, in order to answer that, I'm gonna need you to look right here for me.
Of millions of billions of different AI agents.
And the opportunity for agents is gigantic.
Well, to take the agents and they'll start to work together.
The value added of the agent.
So this is the year of AI agents.
The year of AI agents. Are you prepared? Because learning these fundamentals will put you ahead of 95% of people in the world. And this isn't just another tech fad. It will revolutionize the world as we know it. So let's go over what these agents are and how do they work. And at the end, I'll show you some of the frameworks I use on my own AI agents. So the question is, what are they? Well, at the highest level, an AI agent is just a piece of software that performs tasks autonomously. Now, unlike your traditional software that follows strict rules from going from point A to point C, an agent will leverage AI in order to make these decisions with a very loose rule set. So why don't we take a look at a use case I recently had. I had just planned a trip going from Florida to California. So like anybody, I went to various websites like Expedia, Priceline. I even tried to sweet talk that little gnome from Travelocity, just trying to figure out the best flight, hotel, or car I should rent. But then all these questions started coming up. Is the hotel in a good area? What restaurants are nearby? And on top of it, I didn't want to have to take out a second mortgage just to pay for this thing. So I finally settled for some mediocre hotel in a mediocre area just because I was completely exhausted. So what about from an AI agent perspective? Well, here's the beautiful thing. I can just give an agent a goal and let it run with it. So what do I need to say? I need an affordable trip from Florida to California with a hotel near some good restaurants. I also need to figure out if it's better to rent a car or maybe just Uber, and the agent will get to work, taking the information to determine what steps are needed to achieve this goal. Some things it might do: check flights, decide on a hotel, check nearby restaurant ratings, and then maybe even look at your calendar for events while you're there. And then decide the benefits of maybe renting a car or just Ubering the time you're there. It's gonna take all this information gathered and then decide on the best option. You can see the benefits, right? I gave the agent a goal and then it determined what the best option was. Now we can understand the use cases, but how do they work? So AI agents have this amazing ability to plan, execute, and learn, but how do they do this? Well, we're gonna have to get a tad nerdy here and maybe go one layer deeper just to see how this agent kind of works under the hood. We can break down an agent into a 4-part framework. Let's get started with the core AI model, or LLM. This will be the brains of the agent. Now, most of us use this every day, like ChatGPT or Gemini. When using this, you're directly interacting with that LLM. What this does, it helps generate language, reasoning, and problem solving. These LLMs will act as the main problem solver for our agent in this recipe. They will provide responses that will guide the decision making. But this alone is not enough for our agent. So that's why we'll need the next part in our framework, which is tool usage. These are the tools that the LLM will use in order to perform tasks. Think of a handyman's tool belt. On that belt, we're gonna have different APIs, maybe even the ability to search the web, or linking an external database. Maybe we have a very specific use case and we need to build some custom software around it. So how is the LLM gonna utilize all these tools? Well, like let's say our goal for the agent is just to get the weather. The LLM will look at its tool belt and then decide what tool is used to complete this goal. So it decides to use the weather API tool. The agent will then use this tool to go fetch out that data and decide how to implement it in the next step. But what if we run into a non-predictable issue? That's where our next framework comes in: feedback loops. Now, honestly, this one is pretty self-explanatory. It's the process to allow the agent to continuously monitor and analyze its behavior. If something goes wrong, it can just pivot, adjust, and then try again. For example, if an agent is sending an email and an error occurs, the LLM will then determine the next best course of action. It creates this loop of act, evaluate, then refine its actions, and then adjust, all on its own. But how can the AI agent keep track of these actions? Well, that's where our last part comes in, which is memory. An agent will have access to short-term memory and long-term memory. It will need to keep track of its progress while maintaining the context of any other external change. Going back to our last example of an error when sending an email, the agent can look at its short-term memory to see all of its previous actions, or it could decide to look at long-term memories to determine how to move forward. So that's some of the basics of an AI agent. Here are some tips to start building your own AI agents. Now, you can go with no code route, and there are a ton of options out there, like Google Vertex AI, Langflow, or maybe even Bizway. But at the very least, I would say, learn some Python. All of AI is pretty much running on Python, and it will give you a leg up on really configuring and customizing these agents to your needs. Now, as far as a framework, there's a couple that will really help you get started fast. I would first look into Crew AI, it's awesome, and then also maybe even Agency Swarm, just to start. I'll link both of those in the description below. Now, of course, this is really just scratching the surface of the capabilities of AI agents, but learning these basics will set you up for more complex agents, or just working with LLMs in general. But if you want to get your hands dirty now and put an AI on your local computer, go ahead and check out this video right here. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.